Previously on...
I don't really know what the series is called. We should really talk about that. Anyway. Let me try again.
Previously on... Korea... something.
Am I ugly in Korea? Going to be Korean. You're always going to be the outside.
It's like to live in Korea for
start a new life in South Korea.
You want to move from the US to...
Do you think you're ready to come to Korea? Yeah, I thought so too. I watched the vlogs. Kind of. I packed as much as I could. I thought that I was ready to move to Korea. I thought that I was ready for everything. But I was horribly mistaken. See, besides all of the stuff that I've already spoken about before, being a black girly and being a foreigner, having curly hair, all of that I should have and I did expect. However, I did not expect. There were a lot of things that I didn't expect. So why don't we get into it? Grab your drinky poo, sit in your bed with me, and let's get into this video. Alright, y'all, so let me show y'all my drinky poo of the day. Hold on. I'm actually so excited for this because this is my first honey Americano that I've ever made, like at home. Which is like stupid because it's so easy to make, but I just literally never thought about it. And it's literally just like 2 shots of espresso with water and then honey, and it's Y'all need to get on the Americano game, bro. It's crazy. I'm exhausted and I'm on my time of the month. It's so embarrassing. Are you on your right now too? Because then we're synced up, queen. Okay, anyway. Not to be TMI, but we're besties over here, so whatever. So let's get into the culture shocks of Korea. But first, tell me, are we synced up? And if we're not synced up, tell me what you're eating or drinking right now, girly pop. So yeah, okay. Now let's get into culture shocks. So as I've said many a time, I had already kind of expected that I was going to look different, that I was going to feel different, all that stuff. So we're not talking about that today. I'm talking about the real, okay, queen? Yeah, let's get started. Okay. Oh man, I'm about to get heated just thinking about this. The everyday inconveniences, all right? So first we have, or let's say better, we do not have an oven. Oh my god, I miss having an oven. We don't have an oven. Korean apartments are just simply too small, so they don't make space for that. So you get like a stovetop. You're lucky if you get a gas stovetop. My first apartment, I had an electric stovetop. Just doesn't hit the same, you know what I mean? So yeah, you're lucky if you get a gas stove. We have one now, thank God. But I'm still waiting for an oven. Maybe one day if we decide to rent a house, I'll get an oven, hopefully. Because miss that girl. Something else you don't get in Korea, a dryer. So you get a washer, that's fine. But y'all need to go to Daiso or to the next like supermarket and figure it out, girl. Get a drying rack or something, because it ain't gonna work. And then that's it, literally just no dryer. You just have to like have your clothes out. So now imagine you live in an office tel and it's like basically like a studio apartment. You live in a studio apartment and all of your stuff is like packed because you splurged when you were packing to come to Korea, right? So you brought basically everything in your childhood room. And now your apartment is full and it's summer. It's super hot. And now you also have to dry your clothes outside in your living room or right above your bed, girl. Yeah, it's really a lot. Also, towels. Y'all, we don't have human-sized towels over here. Koreans, I don't know why they have like these like baby-sized towel. It does not cover like anything. It's like so small. It's basically a hand towel. If y'all move into Korea, y'all better bring towels because you're gonna find little tiny ones over here, or you have to like ship it overseas. So yeah, be aware of that. I brought towels when I was here, but then obviously, oh my goodness, Why didn't you tell me that my septum was... Anyway, so towels. Yeah, I brought my towels when I first got here. My mom knew damn well. We love a Dominican queen. She said, you better bring your towels because you don't know. And she was right. I didn't know. So towels for sure. Now let's talk about groceries. So groceries, low-key, high-key, a lot of the stuff that you're going to find here is like fairly inexpensive. Meat, cheese, oh my god, cheese. I was talking about this in my last video. I don't know why cheese is so expensive here. It just is. Cheese, fruits, I've seen a 30,000 won watermelon. A 30,000 won watermelon? Be for real. Unacceptable! Strawberries low-key expensive, even though you can go picking like that. This is a tea. For strawberry season, which is like in February, I'm like very positive that it's cheaper to go to pick them fresh from the farm and then like have a cute little like strawberry like picking date, and then you can pick as many as you want and you pay for like the weight rather than going to the store, because it's just like the price is just different. It's just cheaper, y'all. Believe me, trust me. Okay, tea. If you guys want to know about where to pick your strawberries and like how to book that stuff, always go to Klook. Klook is really good for foreigners especially. Okay, tea. So that's that. Groceries, for some reason, like half of it is like really cheap. Meat is like fairly expensive, like beef is especially is like very expensive because it comes from Australia and America, so that's expensive. Fruit is fairly expensive, except bananas. But like oh my god, I saw 14,000 won apples, y'all. 6 apples for 14,000 won is crazy. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Okay, so moving on from culture shocks from that. For y'all comment me in the comments, which y'all haven't in a while because you guys are my besties, so thank you. But before anyone else who's not subscribed pulls up to this video and starts looking and being like, oh my god, this girl, all she's doing is complaining about Korea. Yeah, I am complaining, except I have some good things, so just chill. All right, thank you. And if you're a real one, thank you, I love you, and don't forget to subscribe, because otherwise, what are you doing, queen? Join the Cozy Chaos fam. That's what we are over here. Okay. Yo, I don't know what it is about like recording in my bed. I actually just go mentally insane. Like, I feel actually crazy. What am I thinking about today? Oh my god, I'm like obsessed with Gale from Baldur's Gate. Well, I don't know why I started talking about this. I'm obsessed with Gale's from Baldur's Gate 3. I've been gaming like crazy these days, and I finally modded it. I finally modded this game. I've been wanting to mod it for 3 years. I've been wanting to mod it for 3 years, and I finally figured out how to do it. And now I'm like obsessed with the game. I always like restart my campaign thinking I'm gonna romance Astarion. Always go to Gale immediately. Don't know why. Okay, anyway, I don't know why I started talking about that, but I am just going delirious. So that's why I'm feeling a little bit chaotic. Also, the Americano is not helping. All right, social culture. All right, T. Okay, actually, something that I didn't expect was the Korean etiquette while you're drinking. I think that's super interesting. I know I literally said that I was complaining this whole time, but I'm actually like, I really like Korean drinking culture. And if you guys are interested in like how to drink and how to eat, me and Jun can also do a kind of video where we go to like a gogichip and, you know, talk about like how to eat at a Korean barbecue and like how to use the chopsticks and how to drink, and we'll teach you the Korean etiquette like when drinking. I think it's super interesting. And like there's like so many different rules where, you know, like I'm the youngest. I've always been the youngest in every group that I've been in, so I always have to like turn my head away from the person that I'm drinking. Like if the oldest person is next to me or whatever, or like in front of me, or like, you know, usually they're all around me, so I just like turn my head away while I'm drinking. I think that's really interesting. And even just like the way that you pour it for someone who's older or like at a higher like position than you at the company. I think Korean drinking etiquette is super fascinating, and it's actually kind of fun. It makes drinking a little bit fun. So yeah, that's really interesting. And then something else about like social culture is like how little space there is. One of my friends FaceTimed me like a few weeks ago when she was flying home from Spain. And she's like, I don't know why like these Korean people are like standing really close to me in line, and like it feels like really uncomfortable. And I was like, girl, they do that here all the time. If you're all standing in a queue, y'all gonna feel their breath on your back, bro. Like, I don't know why, but I guess like they just feel like stepping closer is going to make the queue go faster. I don't know. But I've experienced that a few times. Or like people will there will be so much space in a hallway when I'm telling you there's so much space in a hallway. And then these people like go right here where I am. Are you okay? Do you see the space everywhere else? Why do you need to be this close to me? Are we friends? No. Okay, thank you. So I don't know what it is about personal space, but there is none here. I've told y'all about that person sneezing on me and oh god, I'm still pissed about that. And that happened 3 years ago. I'm pissed. Yeah. There ain't no damn personal space in Korea, apparently. This is not so much about Koreans or Korea specifically. This is just about living abroad. It's the friendships. Like, and this is something that I also had to learn, and I'm really grateful that I learned this lesson kind of early on, because I'm the kind of person that if we become friends and we see each other every day, then we're friends. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? And even if we don't see each other every single day, then we're still friends, you know? And I try to maintain that kind of relationship. But here, especially with Korean teachers or with even foreigners, like, I have found that we're friends because of proximity, basically because we see each other every day or we work together, so we're friends. But then as soon as I leave that space, or as soon as you leave that space, we're done being friends. And I just think that's really sad, because I put in so much effort into my friendships and my relationships that it's just, you're just gonna drop me like that so quickly just because you left. Like, so I really hate that, but it was a lesson that I needed to learn. And so eventually, when I went to my second school, I had already been like, okay, so I have 2 or 3 friends here, and outside of them, I know that we're acquaintances, and I don't need to try. I don't need to like feel like I need to put extra effort into this conversation or into this friendship, because I know that by the time I leave this building, you're not my friend anymore. We're just, you know what I mean? Like, we're friends by proximity. So I think that was like something that like a lesson that I really needed to learn, and something that I'm really grateful that I learned early on, because now I'm not wasting my time with people. Like, I can tell if we're gonna click right away or not, and if we're not clicking, then I'm not gonna try. And that's just it, because girl, like, life is short, like, and y'all better not do that too, because not everybody needs to have access to your energy. Damn, thank you. My second to last one is, oh yeah, it's like super easy to become an introvert here. So when I was growing up, I was always like an introvert, but didn't really realize it. I just kind of remember feeling like I just wanted to stay home, because I would be like, I'm so tired of, you know, talking to people and like being around people. So I always wanted to stay home, but my parents are both extroverts, so they were like, no, we have to go out there, right? So I would always get really upset about that, and like we would argue all the time because they would complain that I wanted to stay home all the time, which I did, and now I do. Adulting. So yeah, I was an introvert, but then whenever I went to university, I decided that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try something new. So I became an extrovert, and I was an extrovert for my first 2 years. I became friends with everybody in like all of my social groups, in all of my clubs. Like, I was friends with everyone, constantly busy, constantly exhausted, until I was so burnt out senior year that I was like, I'm done. And then I just kind of just cut out of everything. I dropped out of everything, and I was like, no, I'm done. And then I just kept my close few friends, right? So that was kind of how I had already, you know, come into thinking about like Korea. I was like, I know I'm an introvert, and I don't need to like push myself too hard. So I didn't push myself too hard when I first got here, and I only made friends with, you know, my coworkers and like the people that I would see every single day. Didn't try to like download Bumble BFF, didn't try to join Facebook groups or anything, or like see people and like make friends in Seoul, which if you're an extrovert, those are all really good resources for you to use so that you can make those connections if that's what you want. But personally, I didn't want that. So I became friends with my coworkers, and then through my coworkers, my one friend specifically, who's like the extrovert, like the most extroverted person you'll ever see, we became friends with like other Korean people and stuff just through her. With all of those connections, I was like, I'm really happy with that, and I don't need to have any more friends basically. But I think even if I didn't come to Korea, I don't know, like I feel like Korea just made me even more of an introvert. So it's so easy, and if you know anything about Japan or like living in Japan or anime or whatever, you might have heard that there's a good chance that you're going to become like an introvert in Japan because Japan is so introverted. There are so many different things for introverts in Japan, like the little stalls of ramen where you can like order your ramen. You don't have to speak to anybody. You go to the machine and then like you sit and they just like pull up the curtain, put your ramen in, and then push your curtain down. Like, you don't have to speak to anyone. And Korea is very like that as well. I recently went to a perfume making class where I didn't need to speak to anybody. I just watched the video and then smelled a bunch of scents, mixed it however I was supposed to mix it based on the video, and they didn't speak to me. So Korea has a lot of things like that that's like perfect for introverts. And I think that it made me more introverted, more of a homebody than I expected it to make me, or like I expected it to be, because I don't know, it's just really convenient to be an introvert, and like they have those activities, but also people don't talk to you. Like no Korean has ever just randomly walked up to me, unless I'm with June because they feel comfortable that another Korean is there, but no one has ever just walked up to me and like spoken to me. That doesn't happen. And even if I did that to them, they would freak out. Like they would stare at me like I'm crazy because they're like, why is this foreigner speaking to me right now? The head nod that we do in America when you're passing someone, you're like, hey, good morning, that doesn't happen. That does not happen. My neighbors, I've seen one of my neighbors once, we made eye contact, didn't speak. And like we just don't acknowledge each other. So I really think that being in Korea made me a bit more of an introvert. But if you're an extrovert, I mean, like I said, you have a lot of resources to do so, but I recommend living in bigger cities so that you can make those relationships that you want, because it's a little bit, I don't want to say it's difficult in smaller cities, but I'm saying like it's easier for you to have those activities, go to like party rooms and like whatever, go to language exchange if you're in a bigger city. So that's that. If you're an extrovert, you should know that. All right, so the biggest shock I would say wasn't the appliances, it wasn't the personal space, it wasn't even being an introvert. It's always have been, always will be. But I think the biggest shock was honestly just like moving here and realizing, wow, like a lot of my personality was just because of the people that I was around. And that's not like shaming anyone. Like I love my best friends and they're still my best friends. But a lot of that was a lot of me being like, I like kawaii things and I like this and I like that and whatever. A lot of it was me just being rooted in like, I don't know, just like being rooted in other people's personalities. I would take a little bit of stuff that I think I liked from everyone's personality, and that is what personality is, you know, like taking inspiration from others. But I think the biggest shock when I moved here was being given the chance to think like no one knows me, so I can do whatever I want. Not anything crazy and illegal, obviously. I mean, like, no one knows me. There's no expectations. And I think that's beautiful, because I lived in Orlando, but I lived in a space where we went to elementary, middle, and high school together. And then half of my friends, all of us went to the same university together. So it like, yeah, we all grew up together, and I'm really grateful for that experience. But also, like, I don't know how to explain it, you know, like we grew up together, but we also didn't have enough space to like mold ourselves. Even in university, like when I went to university, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a fresh start. But then all of my friends from like my childhood basically came with me, so I was like, all right, well, that's great. And I did change a lot in university, but I don't think I changed that much as when I moved here, because it was just like no one knows me, there's no expectations, and I can just be who I am, and I can just say what's on my mind, and I can kind of like build or like act the way I want, and they're gonna perceive me however they perceive me, and that's on them. But they didn't have any other like different notions of like who I was before. Like they weren't thinking like, oh, this was you when you were in kindergarten and now you're different, you know. So I think, you know, moving, the biggest shock was really just like finding myself, finding who I am, and just realizing basically like I've always been me, but now I'm me with different experiences. So, you know, I can still game and I can still read, but now I can also read Korean. I can also go to Seoul by myself and like not have any kind of fear of like what that would look like or how that would feel or if I would feel uncomfortable. And I can just like be myself in a room full of people and like not give a shit. So yeah, I think I've learned a lot of lessons here, and you know, I didn't expect to stay for as long as I have, but now I feel really comfortable even just getting on a public train system and like not freaking out about like where I'm going or like reading the Korean or anything. Or every time I go to Seoul, or like specifically Gangnam, every time I go to Gangnam, I know exactly what I want to do. I feel like I built a home for myself here, and that's something that I really didn't expect because I thought I was only going to stay for a year. So yeah, I guess those are all the culture shocks that I've got. Let me know what shocked you guys the most, or you know, if you guys are coming, what do you expect? Or like, do you have any questions about whenever you're coming or what you should expect and stuff like that? You guys have been commenting like a lot these days, and I really appreciate it. I love having conversations with you guys. I think you guys are all super interesting, and I love to hear your opinion on stuff. So yeah, let me know what shocked you the most, and let's talk more in the comments. If you are not already subscribed to the Cozy Chaos fam, y'all already know what to do. I love you so much. And hopefully I'm going to go back to my regularly scheduled programming of 2 videos a week. So stay tuned for another video on Sunday. Also, not to be rambling, but tell me if what you guys are interested in seeing from me. If you have any questions that I could turn into a series, or if you guys want to see more vlogs, like let me know. I'll probably post a poll sometime this week so we can chat a little bit deeper about that. So yeah, okay, I love you, and I'm gonna go finish my coffee. So this is also a part of my series of what they don't tell you about Korea, so make sure that you also subscribe for more information, honest takes, and all that jazz. Okay, enough rambling. I love you. Annyeong!